Hi friends. Welcome back. It's been a while since the last one, so I had to slowly get my life back together after being away for 2 months. Pero, ano ba, okay lang yan. Binubusog ko naman kayo sa social media updates. So in this episode, we have the usual suspects. Kent, who cannot turn on his camera. That's okay. Because he just got home. And Jacq, live all the way from Secret.
Some secret. Somewhere over the rainbow.
So for this episode, we'll talk about the upcoming Olympic qualifiers and the recently concluded Futsal Tri-Nation Tournament. So first, big congratulations to our Pinay 5 team. They lost to Indonesia in their first game, lost to NZ, and then in the must-win match, they delivered a 1-0 win versus New Zealand, courtesy of an incredible goal by Ate Rebusura. But they unfortunately succumbed to Indonesia in the final, 5-2. It wasn't a bad showing, and in that game versus Indonesia, despite the score line, they had really good chances, and kind of like our football team, they're going against teams that are already experienced. Based on the post-match interview with Coach Vic Hermans, their priority really is 2025. So Coach Vic is a great mentor and comes in with massive experience for those who don't know. He's the former coach of the Netherlands, Thailand, Indonesia, and he was also assisted by Fair Play for All and Payatas FC's coach Roy. And sorry, I just forgot his name, the Tuloy FC coach. Ken, I know you're friends with Tondo FC guys. And you've also had futsal coach as a guest in your Kalye Adriatico podcast with said, so you're more familiar with what's going on futsal and grassroots wise. Could you share what's being done currently and how the girls are being trained?
Well, when it comes to futsal, it's like a sleeping giant in Philippine sports. Not only in football in general, because we know the potential. We don't have a lot of greenery for football fields here, but one thing is for sure, we have a lot of covered courts that we can utilize for futsal. Um, with Tondo FC, all I've talked with Coach Dennis Balbin many times. So shout out to Coach Dennis, who is doing a very remarkable job in progressing Tondo FC. Um, it's really a sport where um the Filipino the Filipino mentality of we want to score right away and football meet. So it's like the perfect middle ground for both. Plus, they train. It's also a way for us to train more technically sound players. Like in the past, we had players. We had players like in the Ascals like Misag Bahadoran, who actually is a very good futsal player. And now we're seeing it with Tuloy FC in the women's league. Most of them also play futsal. So the training is very, oriented towards passing. The other place they're like very seamless, very careful execution because in futsal there is a lack of space. So the passes need to be more precise, to be more measured. Um, Tuloy, I think they have built a facility in Alabang. I think that's the latest futsal facility, dedicated futsal facility in the
That's what
country.
they had the
Yeah,
league, no? Diba?
yep. They had the league, the High Five Women's Futsal League. So that's the first for a women's futsal tournament. They invited teams from all around Luzon to compete. They have teams as far as Pangasinan. So there's a lot of movement and growth in the women's futsal scene. Not to mention the Liga Escuela, where every city has its representatives in the high school division. So there are women's football has a bright future here with women's futsal leading the way in the grassroots efforts because as per what I've said earlier, not a lot of kids are exposed in football because we lack a space here for football fields. Plus, if you're relatively new, and not really a lot of parents are privileged to get uh girls into the sport because the equipment is kind of pricey. So futsal serves as a middle ground. It does not really need a lot of money for the coaches and for the for the girls. I've known here in Muntinlupa, as per what I've said, we've guested the coach, who happens to be a friend of mine. They they um they used to keep the futsal club running by just weekly solicitations from loyal alumni who used to play football, former varsity members. So it's it's a low maintenance but high potential way for women's football to thrive in this country. And I can only give a salute to all who lahat ng nagtataguyod ng women's futsal from then until now, um to be able to see the potential and have Vic Herman, so is a futsal legend, to come here and train our young ladies. It's just a very it just shows the glimpse of what we can be in the sport of futsal.
Thanks, Kent, for that insight. Yeah, siguro I'll include the clip from the post-match press con kasi maganda yung mga sinabi ni Coach Vic. I'm just not sure if I'm allowed to post it. Malaki kasi yung gap. Was it 5 goals, no, Kent? Yung unang game versus Indonesia. I think it was 5 goals. So,
9-4.
yeah, so Coach Vic was saying na, okay, of course, I'm not happy with the with the scoreline, but he talked as if he was yung parang hindi natalo yung team niya. Kasi it's true, there were, lots of chances naman talaga. Kaya lang hindi lang nakakonvert. And they played against Indonesia. Tapos yung coach ng Indonesia, apparently student pala niya sa futsal before. So, hopefully one of these days I can finally get Coach Roy Moore on the pod. I've been planning to have him on. Kaya lang medyo hindi kami nagtutugma lagi sa schedule. And the priority kasi before was really the players, but moving forward, I'll be exploring that. But if you want to learn more about what's happening in the futsal scene, I suggest you listen to one of the episodes of Kalye Adriatico where Kent and said talk to what's his name, Kent? Tondo FC coach yun, di ba?
Coach Dennis Balbin.
Yeah, Coach Dennis. So, yeah, if you want to listen to it, I'll provide the link in the video description. So there. Moving on, let's go to the Olympic qualifiers. So with the camp roster, we currently have 29 players, but like I've mentioned on social media, I believe they only need 22 plus 1 or just 22. I'm not sure. I know it's just 22, but I could be wrong. Please correct me. 22, diba?
Yeah,
22. So, but the roster is 29. So it's a camp. So I'm sure it'll still be trimmed down. As of tonight's recording, it's the 24th. The national team hasn't published an official announcement as to who the players are for the OQT. But this is also a good opportunity for Coach Mark and his staff to see other talents than our World Cup players and see how they can gel and work well with others. So we have 2 new names. Please let me know in the comments if I've pronounce it incorrectly. Aliyah Shinaman. So as a defender in the PWNT announcement, but she's a forward from Berkeley and also plays for Oakland Soul. So I feel like this is another um maybe another defender with an attacking mindset like Coward. We don't know. We'll see. But if we look at her stats, she's played limited minutes for Cal Bears in the past 1 or 2 years, I think. So I'm not sure if it's due to injury. Do you guys know? Is it due to injury? We don't know. She's a new girl, so we'll find out more about her. So yeah, and of course Zoe Hudson. I'm not sure if it's Zoe or Zoe. So this is not her first camp. This is her second camp. She attended the Manila camp
ID camp in September. Yeah.
September. Yeah. So she has previously played in the Portuguese first division and recently signed with Box Hill United in Australia. But let's talk about the returnees. Ito mainit to. Jessica McLeod.
Okay.
It's not up to us. We can only say what our opinions are.
Mhm.
Your thoughts on the return of Jessica McLeod? Who is your favorite? Alam ko favorite mo to, Jacq. So, sige.
Hmm?
Oh,
Ano?
huwag ka mag-deny. Gusto mo si Jessica. Huwag ka
Parang hindi
mag-deny.
updated. Okay, sige. Thoughts. Maybe it's good to see her back in the camp, but what I'm worried about is she not being included in there is another heartbreak for her. So mentally, if I'm the player, I mean, it's mentally damaging if I am the player. So hopefully it will not affect her. And if ever she's not included in the final list for Olympic qualifiers, she'd still be back whenever she'd be invited. So that's just for me.
Kent, your thoughts on the return of Jessica McLeod?
I think the window opened up for her when Chandler is still not really back on her usual form. Uh I think she will provide more depth in our forward slots, in her forward of pool. Um can't deny that she has a very good season club wise, you know. It SQs Tuna. Yeah. He had multiple goal involvements already. But anything can happen in camp. Um you know, it was heartbreaking for her to miss the Women's World Cup, and yeah, she said that in the proper opportunity, or she will be joining up with the team again and under a new head coach. Here she is, and the thing she needs to do is to prove her worth, that she is worthy of making the final lineup ahead of these crucial Olympic qualifiers. But she's a very good player in her own right, and um, we might who knows, Coach Mark might see something in her and can utilize that to change the game up front. So it all depends on how things will go in camp.
True. Thank you, Ken. Yeah, I'm happy she's back. Tignan niyo ako, para ikaw, eh. I'm happy she's back. I truly am, because we all know she's very crafty. May
You
yes,
know,
Ken.
the people wonder why um Harry Maguire gets called up for England when
Yeah.
he has consistently bad performances at club level. You can only also say in the forward situation. Maybe
Yes.
the Serena is having a very, like, let's say, unstable club situation where if she's not hot, she's cold. You know, so um, but she can score goals when she's on the national team, and that's what matters. That's
Yeah.
that's reliability. So yun, ganun
Yeah,
siya.
and I think people should really understand that club level football is so different from international football.
Yes.
Plus the support that you have on the pitch. It's a different group of players versus in the club. So your performance club level might be shit, but you're really doing good internationally. So iba siya. Case in point, Harry Maguire. So, yeah, and then wala lang akong maisip ngayon sa women's, but yeah, that's a really good point. Yeah. So what about our homegrowns? What do we think of our homegrowns being part of this
Okay, so
ID camp?
sorry. So it's good to see Gamrod back in camp. So another heartbreak for her. I mean, another girl that received a heartbreak during the camp for World Cup. But yeah, we're very hopeful that she'll make it to this Olympic qualifiers. And another one, two others would be Annika and Shai. So glad to see Shai back in the camp as well. The last time that she played for the national team was supposed to be AFF. I mean, like days before it started, she got injured, so which was very unfortunate. So let's see what she's got for the national team now after a year.
Yeah, thanks, Jacq. So for me, whether or not they make it to the final roster, I'm happy that they're part of the camp because
Yeah.
playing alongside our players who regularly play international club football will help them improve. It's also a good opportunity to establish connections with the staff. I mean, we know what happened to QQ and Jess through Coach Pakis, right? And also Annika because of being part of being regularly part of the squad. Then that gave her the opportunity to play in Australia. Of course, I'm happier if they make it to the final roster because that means they're good enough or they fit well in the system of Coach Mark. But yeah, so again, whether or not they make the final roster, I'm happy they're in it. Kumbaga ano ba to? Parang buhay pa rin yung yung inspiration for our homegrowns na they can still make it to the squad. Kasi a lot of our homegrowns, baka na-dishearten sila kasi, nakukuha lang naman sa national team or those who are based overseas. But no, we have Camrod. It's very resilient. Ina's still there. Annika's still there. Alicia's still there. So as long as we have our homegrowns in the pool, I'm happy. Kent, your thoughts?
Well, I remember Rod, when she hosted the watch party at UP Town Center, where we were the historic win against New Zealand. She's probably the most happiest out of all everything. She's just trying her best to suppress her joy. But after the match, we took pictures with her, and it's like um uh we were like talking to her like after this Women's World Cup, laban tayo, meaning she knows, and she believes that she still has a point to prove, and she still has what it takes to be part of the national team pool, and she's proved herself right now. So yeah, as per what Ben said, very very resilient. Also with Shy coming off an injury, very very resilient display to get back into the thick of things for the national team. Ina always reliable, and Anika as well. She's having very good cameos in other matches for the squad as a reliable substitute off the bench. I'm just happy that as per what Ben said, they all they represent the dreams of homegrown talents that one day they can make the national a very, very rich pipeline of heritage players, it's important that we also have representation of homegrown players on merit. That's the point, on merit, because they really play well, and in the women's league they're tearing it up. So to have them on merit there, and not and n- n- and just in incredible form right now. Very, very happy for them. Can only hope to see more in the future. With the quality of our homegrowns now, just keep getting better and better technically. There will always be an influx of homegrown players who are definitely high quality and quality enough to play for the Filipinas.
Thank you, Kent. Okay, so Olympic Qualifying Tournament is what, in 2 days? Thursday na, no? Thursday. So we're facing three teams. Chinese Taipei on Thursday. Thursday, October, where's my notes? Ayan, October 26, 4 p.m. Australia on October 29. And finally, Iran, November 1. So basically, to secure a spot in the next round, you have to top the group, meaning win all matches. But if that doesn't happen, we still have a chance if we take second place in the group, but it will all depend on the ranking of all second placers. So basically, four teams will advance to the third. That's the third and final round, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's the third and the final round for the AFC. So among the four, only two will actually advance to the Paris Olympics. So so again, this is the second round for the AFC qualifiers. We have three groups. We belong to Group A. In Group B, there's China, Korea Republic, Thailand, and North Korea. And in Group C, Japan, Vietnam, Uzbekistan, and India. So that's also tough, no? These are footballing countries, and they have longer, like sinasabi ni Coach Chad, they have longer history of football. So we, tama ba ako? We need to score more goals if we want to top the second placers. I have a later na lang. Gusto kong sabihin, para towards the end na lang. Okay. So when we qualify, we join the top four, and then two winners will qualify for the Olympics. So first match, Chinese Taipei, currently 38th in the world. In the Asian Games, they won against India 2-1, lost to Thailand by 1 goal. Uzbekistan 1-2 in their only Olympic qualifying matches. They won 1-5 versus Lebanon and 4-0 against Indonesia. So the last time we met them during the World Cup qualifying match in the Asian Cup, I'm sure they will meet us with only vengeance in their minds. Any insights that you'd like to share on this match? Ken, do you wanna start with this one?
Tama si Ben, gaganti yung mga yan. And to get beat out for a World Cup spot, it's something that those players will always remember, and they will look to really bounce back in a big way. Because I think losing in penalties are just the most heartbreaking thing ever. You cannot really
Super.
replicate the feeling of losing that kind of match unless you beat the other team on penalties. You get back one, or you put a beating on them, the literal beating. So I think they will approach this game more aggressively than us. I think we will be more. Um, we've learned a lot since the last time we faced them. So, I still it's still a pretty even match. Chinese Taipei has long been a very stable, force in the women's Asian football scene, outside of the traditional powers. So we need to, be cautious as well. I think Coach Mark will will try to be pragmatic with that because that game can go either way. Even if they didn't
Yes.
qualify to the Women's World
True,
Cup,
true.
they're still a very dangerous team.
Thanks, Kent. Your thoughts, Jacq?
Same. So they'll be coming after us with a vengeance. And um, losing a direct slot to the World Cup is like, very syempre, they base it on the rankings. Syempre, they know their capacities and they know our rank during that time. So they know that they can win when we play them. But but we got it, and syempre, it's very hurting to the ego if I'm playing for Taiwan. So this is our first meeting again with them after that penalty shootout that made everyone cry in the Philippines. And so hopefully we'll be prepared since we've got new arsenals that they didn't see during that time. So yeah, maraming tayong dumating na reinforcement. So um so hopefully we'll be able to get this one, and first win. We need, as always, in a bracket of just four teams. It's always the first game that dictates everything, dictates the fate. So hopefully we win this one. Para dire-diretso swerte.
Yes. Yes, please. Okay, so I agree with everything you said. To me, it's a match that could go either way. I feel like we're pretty even. Although, ang laki na nung in-improve natin from the last time we played against Chinese Taipei. Anywho, second match will be versus Australia, the Matildas, currently 11th in the world. And we're playing them in their home soil. In Sam Kerr territory, man. Sa Perth pa talaga. In front of more than 50,000 fans. Can we win this? Your thoughts, Jacq?
um, I think our Filipino community can win this. And sa mga nag-sold out yung ticket, naniniwala ako na maraming Pilipino ang bumili ng ticket. Sana naman. So, ayan, our girls need your support. It's a home crowd. You guys, we all know how the home crowd can affect the game of the team. So, again, it's a giant mind game for for Australia to move it into a bigger stadium because we are playing against them, di ba? Parang it's an honor. I mean, Australia is regarding the Philippines. Malaki mataas na tingin nila sa Philippine team now, di ba? But again, that's a positive side of thinking of it. But other side is it's an added pressure to the girls because paano kung yung buong Perth Nation yung bumili ng tickets, di kawawa naman yung mga Filipino community natin doon. But seeing the welcome party of the Filipino community there, I didn't expect that. It's a very big and healthy Filipino community. So very nice, and sobrang nakaka-boost yun ng moral ng ating mga girls. So laban.
Go ahead.
These types of matches, let's not forget the Filipinos are the ones who will play that they have like and no, literally they have nothing to lose.
True.
You know, they're still the heavy underdogs, very very heavy underdogs, and they should really embrace it. Australia is is still on somewhat of a high after that hosting. Really, really showed uh that they have a very bright future in dominating women's football. After that, there's been a call for there's been a call for more funding, more focus on Australian soccer. especially in the women's side. Because it's a sport where Australian football dominates. Um, so well, it's a very loaded lineup for the Matildas, but you know, I don't discount our chances that maybe we can at least make life hard for them, make it uncomfortable for them. Kumbaga, papalagan natin. And while I don't really view it I don't really hindi ko iniisip na mananalo tayo. I don't really view a win. But maybe we can settle for a stalemate. If that happens, that would be very, very historic or like a defining result of the post World Cup year. Like, heto na tayo, ganon. But, Matildas are the Matildas, very strong. And as per what I've said, pahirapan lang natin sila. As long as we make life hard for them, we make them work for their goals, I'll be happy with that performance, the showing.
All right, thanks, Ken.
Ano
So,
dagdag? I forgot something.
Oh, go.
Okay, so same with Taiwan. This is our first meeting against Australia.
Yes, Asian Cup.
Diba? This is the last time that we met them is same with Taiwan. World Cup qualifiers as well. And if we are talking about the Team A, then that was the last time that we met them. So again, the arsenals that we have now were not there. And Angie Beard.
Kailangan niya talaga sabihin yan, Ken.
Ayun. So it will be a very exciting match too. Fighting against that one. No.
Wag ganun ka din.
Oo, Angie Beard.
So, yun. It's going to be a very exciting match.
Yes.
So, yun. And
Well,
yeah,
I'm
excited yung mga
happy.
Australians, excited din tayo.
I am excited. It's the
Yeah.
Matildas. Tapos, at the same time, I'm also happy that we have our World Cup players back.
Mhm.
So, like you said, technically the last time we met them was in the AFF. We won that match, but that's their U20 squad.
Yeah.
And a lot has happened since we met them in the Asian Cup. So even if we say, oh, they're playing, the same core players, same coach, we have a different coach this time, different technical staff, different players. We didn't have Beard, Parker, Egisvik, Merrill the last time we
don't
played
have.
against them. Sino pa ba? So,
We were
the
less
motivation,
creative
we
that
don't
time.
have.
That's
Oh,
the
yes.
interesting part here.
Defend
sorry?
lang tayo ng defend nun eh.
Yeah. So, it's interesting to see how we fare, but we have more formidable in midfield.
True. So the motivation is also different this time because this is for Olympic qualification. So to be honest, I'm expecting a decent scoreline. I don't think we should lose by more than 4 goals. If we were to lose, but of course I'm hoping we could pull off a miracle like we did in New Zealand, but I'm not gonna lie by saying I'm happy with the draw. But who knows? Maybe we could pull off. Serena Bolden in the header, please.
Mhm.
Anyway, so pretty much we're clear on the predictions. We're all happy with the draw, happier with the win. And then last match versus Iran. So in their Olympic qualifying journey is a win and a draw versus Myanmar back in April. And they played 2 friendlies versus Russia, which they both lost 4-0 and 2-0. Any prediction and insights on this game? Ken?
I think the last time we faced them, I don't know. Marisa Park was still playing, I think.
Yes.
Yes, I remember
they
that.
played against Iranian men. Okay.
Yes, and it was a beatdown, I think. Like 4 goals, I think.
4 or
Yep,
6
yep.
ganyan.
Yep. So, but Iran, very formidable football nation, but in the women's side, they're yet to make a mark, and I think it will be a win for us. As long as we put our game plan together, I think we will be able to put a decent amount of goals past them. Yeah.
Yes. Please, Jacq, your comments on this match.
Okay, so Iran, we know the men's side is very strong, but what's amazing recently is that for the other countries that have their men's that yung sobrang galing na team, tapos medyo hindi pinapansin yung mga women's team nila, they are making surprises. So let's see how the women's team of Iran has caught up with the men's, and hoping that we could win this one as well. I mean, get as much wins as possible if we want to go to Paris. Diba? So we already played in the World Cup, and you know, getting to the Olympics is a dream. Hopefully we could do it.
Wala na akong pera. Yeah, Paris.
Personally, I think that the Filipinas making it to Olympics will have more of an impact to the common Filipino
Yes.
than the Women's World Cup. That's
Yes.
that's my hot take.
Yeah,
Because
that was also your take, Kent, during the SEA Games. Remember?
yes,
When we talked
yes,
about it.
and I will die on a hill to say that, because first of all, qualifying is very hard. Only two teams will make it to Paris from the Asian Confederation.
Mhm.
Then only 12 teams in the women's tournament. Uh I think a harder qualifying journey. But in the Filipino sense of support, when you get to the Olympics, you're a hero already. So
That's true.
making it
That is true.
making it there will solidify women's football in the Philippines as a sport that we can be strong with. Yeah. So I'm excited, and hopefully the girls will take it into heart na yung Olympics, ito yung pinapahalagahan ng Pinoy. Ito yung inaano ng Pinoy. Ito yung dream ng bawat Pinoy na atleta na parang tinanong mo nung bata, gusto ko talaga mag-Olympics. Yan, ganun.
Totoo yan. Totoo yan. Because, the rooting is not solely on football. It's the Philippine Olympic team. So, parang part and partial na siya ng, representation ng Pilipinas sa Olympics. I guess that's why mas mabigat. So, yeah. So guys, question. Do you think we can make Jacq, ikaw.
We can what?
Can we make it to the next round?
From how I'm seeing it, syempre, we want the direct slot to the third round. But medyo tataas ang yung percentage that we might go to the second and a half round. Sure. Yung second highest.
Yeah,
for the round.
so you're assuming we will take second place, and then depending on the ranking. So you think we would top the rankings?
Yeah. Pero
Sabi
yung
ni
mga,
Sa.
yung mga ganun na moments, nakasabit ng daliri na lang.
Teka, saan ba yung aking listahan? Kasi, okay, so Group A. So Group B, let's talk about this. I want to talk about this. So sa Group B, China, Korea Republic, Thailand, and North Korea. I think this is the group of death, no? Group B. So, ang goal difference dito mababa. For sure. For sure. So, Group C, Japan, Vietnam, Uzbekistan, and India. So, I feel like it's a toss between Vietnam and Uzbekistan for the second place. So, it's going to be between Philippines, either Vietnam or Uzbekistan, or sa Group B. Ang hirap nito eh.
Sa B yung mahirap because pabor yung bracket sa atin in a way because all of the powerhouses are there.
Exactly.
So they would kill each other, pero
So that's fine kasi yung goal difference mababa eh.
Pero yung second nila, parang mahirap din eh.
Mahirap din. But anyway, regardless who will be the second, because I feel like North Korea will top this group. Just
Yeah.
based on Asian games, North Korea will top this group. So the second will be either Korea, Republic, or China. So I really feel we have a good chance to qualify in the third round. What do you think, Ken? Kailangan namin ng
Well,
rational
well,
na
well, the thing here is we already saw how crucial the goal differential is to our campaign in the Asian Games. We saw that in the quarterfinals. We could have gotten a better opponent if we just didn't let we just didn't let in a couple of goals against Korea
Yeah.
Republic.
True.
So that will be crucial. But for me, the magic number here, the ideal number here is 7 points. Because with 7 points you win against Chinese Taipei and Iran. Then it will take a miracle of sorts, but ideally we should do the girls should do everything they can to hold Australia to a stalemate.
True. True.
Because even if we don't score a lot of goals,
At 7 points.
7 points, you assume the other group will beat the crap out of each other. Like there will be at least one loss. Like that,
Yeah.
at least
Yes.
the other group, the second place of the other group, they're either with um 6 points or 5 points. But to the magic number for me that if we're gonna reach 7 points, we will be untouchable even if we have a goal difference of like +2 or +3. 7 points is the magic number. We need to do everything to just secure wins. Don't concede as much. To be honest, I don't care if we don't score a lot. It's much more harder to concede for me. It doesn't matter if we only score 2 or 3 or
Mm.
but we should not concede at least, you know. Every goal we concede matters in this context. So, as per what Jacq said, I agree. We should look at that best runner up spot. I think we have a fair chance there.
Yes.
The first game will be crucial, definitely
For
against
sure.
Taipei because I think uh the result of that match will dictate how we will adjust to get more goals or to how to approach the campaign. It doesn't matter if we win by whatever goal,
Yes.
what the matter the goal is scored as long as we win. I think we can take care of the other assignments. I think.
The decision is
Grabe talaga.
yan naman yun, feeling ko magiging crucial yun. Baka may mga moments na naman tayo na ganyan, especially
Naman.
versus Australia. May
For
decision.
review. Decision, please. Penalty kick.
meron
Remember,
meron ng trauma si ano.
we're in Perth. Mahirap na. Anyway, sorry.
Nako, kung asaran lang 'yan. Papalag Pinoy diyan at the stands. Papalag 'yan.
Oh well. Okay,
But
so
ano,
yeah, go.
I like the defensive structure of this lineup. I mean, yeah. I
Yeah,
think we have a
I'm
lot
happy
of chance.
Barker is back. And then you have Beard. Buo na naman yung
Intramuros.
Intramuros. So I'm happy. Yeah, so just going to our last topic for this episode. So the reason why I'm also very excited for this campaign is because deep inside I really really want us to qualify, because that means there's something for women's football next year, and there's something to look forward to. But the reality is there's a very important upcoming PFF elections. Is it next month? Next month, no?
Yeah, November.
Next month, November. And if we don't make it to the next round, we're kind of in the
And
balance.
then go
I don't
again.
know. I don't know. I'm just siguro I'm just scared that we might be back to square one, or I don't know because again, it all depends on what's gonna happen in the PFF elections. The support of uh our ninong will also depend on the PFF elections. I believe so because everything is political. Um, I'd like to give the mic to Kent. I think Kent has more thoughts on this because between the three of us, alam ko mas maraming insights to si Kent about, this elections in the PFF and how it would, affect the women's program. Just, based on your um just your thoughts and insights, Kent. What can you say?
Well, first of all, the PFF, for the benefit of our listeners, yeah, um, the PFF has an election every 4 years to decide on who will be the next set of leaders for the federation that will oversee the development of the sport of football in this country. So, who gets to vote? Mm, the votes will come from regional football associations. So I think we have a lot of them in the country. So big football communities have their own. I think Davao has three. The Davao region has three regional football associations. So they have one vote each, so they can deliberate and decide on who will be the next leaders in the PFF. So first, we only know two prominent front runners right now. So first of all, we have um Philbert Alqueros, who is part of the ownership group of Stallion Laguna FC. So it's been for a long time patron of football in this country in his own right. Um and we have John Gutierrez, who is a businessman. Well, same with Boss Philbert. He's a businessman too. But John Gutierrez has a background as a former varsity footballer in UP and formerly the financial backer of Pachanga. So he's currently one of the main patrons of the UP football program. So those are the two contenders for this election na talagang they made their presence felt and they really declared their intentions to be the next PFF president. So how it's crucial. The winners will serve a 4-year term. So how it will affect Philippine football, especially in the women's side, it's important that we have a president that will, focus on all aspects of football in the Philippines. Kumbaga walang may iwan. Especially with the leaps and bounds that women's football has achieved over the past couple of years. Under the financial guidance and support of Sir Jeff Cheng. Grabe yung inilakas. Kumbaga this I never saw a turn around like this in Philippine sports. Rarely. I mean, for a national level na like you take over in a few years back, then now you made it to the World Cup and even tally the historic win there, a historic moment. So we need the leadership that can attract more support, especially financially. Um, because we need it to, put up tournaments, fund youth tournaments, fund our youth teams, support the women's league. The women's league is still under heavy needs the heavy support of PFF. So, everything in women's football really relies on a strong, you know, um, federation who will advocate for the development and more empowerment of the women's game here in our country. And as per what I've said, ang laki ng inunlad ng women's football over the past few years. So I hope whoever wins the election, we will he will focus on, you know, the potential of women's football kasi gaya na pag-usapan natin in an episode last year when along with Pam, we're still barely scratching the surface when it comes to women's football. We're still not seeing the full potential of women's football in the Philippines. We're very fortunate that we were able to make the Women's World Cup. Na we're still not having the the elite infrastructure in football, but we're just so fortunate, very lucky, and having
We're
the
just
support
very
of
lucky, Ken. Just very
yeah,
lucky.
yeah, and but it wouldn't be possible if you had the financial backing of the
Yeah.
people who can tap to our very rich heritage pipeline, as well as to make things happen. Hire a world class coach in Alin Stancic. I mean, the magnitude of the things that happen to Philippines women's football, in if you compare it with other national teams, the only thing that might be close is Tab Baldwin to Gilas, but Coach Allen is very highly regarded in women's football. He really achieved a lot with one of the strongest women's football teams in the modern era in Australia. So, just to maintain the high standard that Mr. Cheng has set for the women's program, that should be a focus for the next PFF set of leaders that will take over the PFF. So next month they will have a congress. So um that's probably on a weekend. So we will see how how the regional FAs will vote. So the usual things are
Sorry to interrupt you, Ken. So is the
mm,
voting like in public, or that is the voting in secret?
it's in a
Would you
private
know?
event. It's on a
Okay, so
private event.
it's in secret, even
It's
when
in
they vote.
secret, close to the public, yeah. I remember 2019, I think it was in the SEA Games competition, then some of our friends in the media told that, oh, the PFF election is ongoing. Actually, wow. Ngayon pala yun. So, magkakagulatan na lang with whoever wins. But
So
I'm glad that the top candidates this early, they came out in the open. Gutierrez and Alquiros, and but I think the point is they really haven't laid down what they want to do with the programs. More of the pitch, as per what I've heard, most of the pitchers are directly into the regional FAs, so that I assume that's private conversations, the discrete conversations away from the fans and for the other stakeholders.
yeah,
So
that,
who knows
that's
what's
that's
being promised there?
that's the thing, no? It's such an important election na hindi man tayo pwede bumoto. we, we have nothing to do with it. Um,
Yes. Yes.
just for
You
the
know,
people who are watching or listening, hindi tayo boboto doon. Sila lang yun, guys.
wish namin, kumbaga wish namin, but kung kami lang di ba? Gate crush
Yeah.
kami doon. Charot. But but the thing here is in this upcoming election, maganda na before this election na ipakita na ng women's football team natin na ito ang standard. Ito yung pamantayan. Ganito dapat ang pagpapalakad. Ganito dapat
Yes.
pinapatakbo ang mga bagay. They've set a benchmark in Philippine football. No one has ever set that. I mean, seriously. So the next set of leaders for the PFF, they should really try not to disrupt things. I mean, the program is already, you know, um flowing smoothly. You know, after the World Cup, we thought that I personally thought we will decline, but actually we're still making waves, and we're still getting more players to commit to play for us. So to ensure the continuity of the program, I hope the next set of leaders, the next set of PFF officials will um take a look, or parang irerespeto nila kung ano yung nagawa na for women's football. And I hope you know um whoever wins, they will try to make it a smooth transition as possible. Yun ang gusto natin kasi parang in other areas of Philippine football, talaga ang dami pa rin kailangan i-improve. Not gonna deny. Even in women's futsal, di ba? Parang it's really flowing a lot smoother with Vic Sherman's there because, Vic Sherman's is a legend and we want him to get the best resources possible despite how limited it is. Pero ang smooth nung nangyayari with Kevin Goko in the futsal department. So, parang tayo, kung ano yung nakikita nating maayos sana, hindi na i-disrupt or hindi na sirain. And I think that's tayong tatlo dito, that's what we want. Alam mo din, di ba? In the women's, ipagpatuloy lang kung ano yung nasimulan, bagkus palakasin pa. Palaguin pa. O like the barangay election. Oo nga, no? Kabarangay, no? At palaguin natin ang progreso ng women's football sa ating bansa. Yun. Just for a light, pero yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Kent. I appreciate it because it's not a lot of stakeholders or the Filipino football community understand the importance of the PFF elections. Which again, guys, hindi tayo pwedeng bumoto doon. It's an internal thing. Only, the gentlemen and women inside the PFF will, are involved, and the regional FAs as well. So sorry, I just want to quickly talk about this. So this is the reason why the PWFA was formed. So if you want to listen to that episode, I'll include it in the description. Natasha and Sarah talked about why there's a need to have an association for women in football. It's really all because we want to have a seat at the Congress. So we can, the women have a say. So para hindi lang puro lalaki yung desisyon para sa ating mga kababaihan. Barangay election. But yeah, so just overview if you want to listen to it. Because Tasha described it in great detail, so you can listen to it. Alrighty, so that's it. Thanks, guys. Do you have any final words? Yeah, Jacq, let's start with you. Mga huling habilin ko.
Ano pala? What's this? Aside from dun sa sinabi ni Kent ng dalawang names, are they the only ones running for the presidency ng PFF? How many candidates are we looking at?
We'll never know until it's election day. There are a lot of names kasi that are being floated upon.
Yes.
But that this is so private and this is so discreet that
Yes.
most of them talagang rumored lang, and then eventually we might see one of them on election day. But just like the
Wala
elections,
nga tayong involvement doon.
Yep. But just like as the elections 4 years ago, we only have two prominent candidates, Nonong Araneta and Ricky Yanson. So baga the situation will unfold itself if I think if the regional FAs think that this candidate is worthy or not worthy or not trustworthy, they will, a lot can still change. There are still roughly two to 3 weeks before the election. So, let's see. You'd never discount a person until you see them standing in that Congress in the day itself.
Kaya tanong ni Jacq kasi para malaman yung sino yung boboto niya.
Ay, nako. May election yan. Anyway. Ayan. Going back to huling habilin. And so, we got our World Cup girls back in action. Some are not there, like our college girls, Malaya, Kalye, and but we've got Flanagan back in action. So we have a strong campaign with our World Cup girls mostly comprising the team, and let's see who will be included in that lineup. Again, this is just a 22 girl lineup versus 23 sa World Cup. So we don't know, we don't have control as fans who will be included in the lineup. So if your bets are not included, please Huwag tayo mag-away sa SOCMED. Okay, let's respect what the coaches decide upon, and all it all boils down na it will be for the best of the team. Ayan. And ayun, with the elections naman, whoever wins, huwag sirain ang sistemang gumagana. Yun lang.
Thanks, Jacq. Kent, your final words.
First of all, I'm just happy that the Filipinas are regularly competing in the top levels of Asian football. You know, we might not get medals like the last Asian Games, you know, but we'll get there. You see us regularly competing and not really in our, ito lang sasabihin ko, we're not really in our full potential yet. Mas katakutan nila tayo if we reach our full potential as a program when we have all the proper infrastructure, support, and more proficient and skilled players and coaches in place. You know, sabi nga ni Ben, we're lucky, but it's a luck that will take 10 times out of 10 every second of the day. We tayong mga football fans will never take it for granted. And, you know, I hope the girls will also, you know, remember that the Olympic dream is a Filipino dream that is something that they can fulfill. And, you know, kung marami na silang na-inspire ng Women's World Cup run nila, being in the Olympics, just to be there and to compete against the best of women's football. I mean, they will be legends here. They will be more legends here. And Sarina might have a bronze statue outside of the PFF headquarters. Who knows? If she scores the goal, no, diba? You know, it's nice to dream about that. About the PFF elections, yung nasabi ni Jacq na sistema, I think it's for women's football. That's the only functioning system that we have in Philippine football right now. And in women's futsal, shout out to Sir Kevin Goko. No? But I think a lot whoever wins the election must have not his interest, but the best interests of Philippine football in heart. Because if you have the best interest of Philippine football in your heart, you will do everything. You will be flexible. You will adapt. You will do everything you can to ensure that you will improve the systems in place. You will lahat ng nabubulok diyan, aayusin mo, tatanggalin mo. Lahat ng bagay na may potential, susuportahan mo. Lahat ng bagay na umuusad na, mas pauunlarin mo. And it will only, you know, I'm in the local football communities, I'm inspired with these coaches. They don't have the resources. They're not rich. They always come at odds with officials who don't like football, but they're still doing their best to spread the spread the sport of football. Kumbaga, sana nakikita din ng kung sino man yung magiging next set of leaders ng federation natin. The sacrifices being made by those normal people but makes superhuman efforts to keep football alive and thriving in this country. And, you know, those people, they're doing it for the love of the game. Madalas abonado pa. Madalas, di ba? Parang they have families of their own. They have obligations of their own, but they still love football and they do their best to balance that. And at the end of the day, they're able to make it happen. They're able to make it work. So, ang sa akin lang, not just the general, not only for women's football, but for all of Philippine football, I hope they put their best, they put the best interest of Philippine football in their mind and in their heart. Because with that, they will try to, you know, do everything, even if they're uncomfortable with it, to do everything it takes even if they need to, kasi uso sa mga sports natin ngayon, politikahan, the factions, the things like that. It even lasts after the election. We don't want that. I mean, in Philippine football, tayo na nga lang nakikita, mag-aaway-away pa ba tayo? Siguro,
True.
the elections, we will have our differences. May the best candidate win. But after that, para to have the full backing of the football community, they need to show that they really love football and they will do whatever it takes to advance the interest of Philippine football in their minds and in their hearts. So good luck sa mga tatakbo. May the best candidate win.
Baka makabagdamdami naman nun, Ken. I mean, it just goes
Well,
to show, guys, how passionate Kent
We are.
is.
we all are.
Most
We all are.
especially Kent.
We all are. Because we know what's
Yeah.
at stake. Kumbaga, I mean, most of the fans can't really express
Yes.
what they want, but we all want the best for Philippine football.
Mm.
At the end of the day, yan lang naman ang nating lahat. Yan ang mapagkakasunduan nating lahat. You may not like Messi, you may not like Ronaldo, you may hate this club or that, you may something like that, but at the end of the day, we just want Philippine football to grow and to thrive. Yun lang
Yes.
talaga.
True. Yep. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much,
If
Kent.
it's a working
Iboto
system,
as
destroy it.
PFF president, Kent Garcia.
For barangay, barangay captain.
Yun. So, ayoko na. I don't want to add kasi maganda yung sinabi ni Ken. Let's just leave it at that. So, just anyone has the best interest of Philippine football at heart. That's it. Oh, by the way, sorry, can you see my pagmamalaki ko lang?
Yeah, support.
Yes.
Nakakarating
No.
yan dito sa lugar ko.
No, I just shout out to Mr. Bo Cesar who asked for
Ooh,
my graphic
nice.
and nilagay niya sa shirt. So he gave this to me nung
Can't. We can see your room, Ken.
Oh, A6.
Ooh, sana
Thank
makarating
you.
yan dito. Sa kung nasan man ako.
Paki-message na lang si Mr. Freebie lang to. Thank you. So this was worn by the entire Cesar familia during the broadcast. So
Baka may,
I'd like to think I'm a part of the Cesar family. Charot. Yeah, so thank you everyone. So the first match will be on Thursday. It's in a few hours, it's already Wednesday. So that's the next day. I'll do my best to have this uploaded midday tomorrow. Ayan, nakauna pala yung camera ni Ken. Hi, magkaya ka naman. Nakikita ka namin. Wala ka sa kwarto, masang ka.
So sorry to comment.
So there are everything that we talked about. I leave the necessary links in the video description. And thanks again for your support. I can't say when the next episode is because it'll depend on whether or not we qualify. Charot. No, my next project is to get Roy more on the podcast. So bye guys. Thanks so much again.
See you.
See ya. Good night.
Bye-bye.